Welcome to SG Healthcare AI Datathon 2021. This tutorial will demonstrate how to use AWS resources for your Datathon experience. This tutorial is brought to you by Wang Han, a third-year PhD student under Prof. Feng Mengling from Soswick Hall School of Public Health, National University of Singapore. Here are three components of AWS that you might be using. Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2, which is the remote CPU or GPU server allocated to each team as free computational power. Relational Database Service, or RDS, which hosts the EHR databases we will be using. Simple Storage Service, or S3, which stores the medical imaging datasets we have prepared. To use the EC2, please access it via SSH over your own computer's terminal. The username is Ubuntu, and the public IP of your EC2 and private key will be shared with you via Microsoft Teams to your team leader, so please find your team leader for them. Please do not share the private key with people outside of your team. For example, if you are Team 08, you can do the following. Open your terminal. Go to a directory where the private key is stored. And type SSH Ubuntu at 52.221.230.189-i team08.pen. And you will see that you have already logged in to your EC2. Please wait a few moments before the environment is being initiated. After you see the command line, you can start to use the EC2 machine. We have pre-installed different deep learning packages and environments for you, so you can activate the ones to your own liking. For example, if you are using PyTorch 1.7, you can just source activate PyTorch_P7. And there it goes. You can use Jupyter Lab to write your codes easily on your local computer, but still using the EC2 computational power. We've already set up Jupyter Lab for Python and R users. Here is a manual of how to do it. Here is a demonstration of how to start a Jupyter Lab server. First, make sure that you are under the Python 3 environment. Start a Tmax session by typing Tmax and type Jupyter Lab to start a Jupyter Lab server. Please copy this token and save it somewhere else for later use. Now press Ctrl B together, release, and press D to go back to the main screen of the terminal. Only one team member should start the Jupyter Lab server. After this is done, everyone in the team can follow the next steps. New terminal window on your own laptop. Type SSH-f-l at localhost at 8 Ubuntu at your EC2 IP -n. Now, go to your browser. In your browser, type in the URL localhost:8/lab/workspaces/Michael. Hit enter. Paste the token that you have just copied and click Login. Each team member can use a different ID after the slash, after workspaces. If you have done everything correctly, you should see the Jupyter Lab interface in your browser. On the right-hand side of the Jupyter Lab, you can create Python 3 notebooks or R notebooks. You can choose the environment you want to start a notebook. On the left-hand side, it is the file directory on your EC2. You can look at the README file for some instructions on how to access the EHR databases via Python or R, downloading medical imaging datasets, and using Neo4j or VitalDB. To access the EHR databases from your local machine, please download and install pgminfo. For teams that are using medical imaging datasets, you will use AWS S3 to download the data. The commands can be found in the README file in your EC2. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via MS Teams. Hope you will have a great experience during the Datathon.